Hello, everybody, and welcome back once again to the League of Legends North Conference, where we're going to be watching SLU University esports once again facing off. This time with their opponent being Illinois Institute of Technology. This is Nestech once again, and this is Hickory. How you doing, Hickory?
I am doing great. I am ready to see the SLU boys in action again. Interested to see how Illinois Institute of Technology does as well. A Chicago team. I like the Chicago versus St. Louis rivalry we got
Yeah,
going here as well.
definitely a good
Uh,
one. Yeah,
yeah.
hoping this time will be a bit closer of a match. I remember, if you recall, for anyone who watched
Yes.
last week's game, it was quite higher skilled on SLU versus a bit lower level, maybe like silver, bronze kind of range, which against the team they played last week. This time, I won't spoil the ranks of the opponents yet, but let's just say they're a bit closer in rank level to our SLU players today.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a much closer match, which I'm excited about because I do like to see my card, I do like to see outplays, but I also in particular like to see when a team can show me that they're a team, can work around the map, can work on vision and things like that. When
Yeah,
Strumpist is 10-1 in 15 minutes, that's cool, but I don't really need to talk about too much more of the game. Uh,
exactly. Yeah, and I think a lot of the most interesting parts to talk about matches of League of Legends are like in these droughts in between big team fights where you can like kind of talk about what both teams needs to do to
yeah.
get themselves in a good advantage. And it's hard to do that when there's back-to-back fights because somebody's caught out, because somebody towered over, and like, yeah, so maybe we'll get some good pacing in this match so we can have some opportunities to talk more macro, more strategy. I know you all at
Yeah.
home in Twitch chat right now, that's what you guys are trying to work on, your macro. I'm sure you guys all have great mechanics, good micro. You're trying to figure out how to get your team in the right situations.
Okay, well, Neztec, you know that every single person in chat, excluding Strompist, is in Challenger. I mean,
Oh, really?
that's
You
it's
know,
it's proof in the pudding of being in Twitch chat.
oh, for sure. I'm willing to bet there's some lurkers in there though who are a little afraid to talk to chat because they're like, I'm iron. I want to learn the game. Let me let out the people who know what they're talking about. Type.
I feel like those people are actually probably the higher ranked people in reality, are the ones that just kind of
Yeah.
sit there.
Yeah, you never know. Yeah, it's always the people who start off their point with I'm challenger, by the way, who
Uh,
probably aren't challenger. That's why I like how in the Reddit they have the flares where you can see I mean if you opt in to showing your rank, you can share what your rank is.
oh,
Um,
really?
yeah, it's funny though because it's gotten to the point where now if somebody says something like, at higher levels, Heimerdinger actually wins the matchup because blah blah blah, and if I can't see their flare, I'm like, you're silver. You don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna pretend like you can't talk about theories and stuff like
For
that,
sure.
but depending on your rank. But it is kind of funny when people try and use rank as like a system evaluation. Actually, I kind of jumped just kind of while we're waiting for the draft. I kind of jumped into the conversation on Twitter in kind of a similar vein. I want to say it was Peter Dunn who is the coach of, is it Immortals now? I
Mhm.
might be getting that wrong. I'd have to look it up. But he's pretty well known as like not very good at playing League. He actually doesn't play League very much, but he's an extremely successful coach. He's been in the LEC for multiple years. He's gotten finals multiple times, been in LCS for multiple years. And my kind of 2 cents on that was that for a long time, because I'm old, way back in the day, I mean like 2010 and 2011, I was like a hard stuck platinum StarCraft 2 player. And I was like super hard stuck. And then one day I was just, F this, I'm going for it. And I got myself up to masters in a couple of weeks of like really, really hard grinding over a summer, which is the equivalent of like GM in leagues, like top, like kind of like 1%. It's just not the top
Okay.
200, but it's kind of right below it.
It's up there. Yeah.
I was also a caster at that time. I wrote about the game. I did analysis, stuff like that.
Nice.
And kind of about like 6 months later, after like actually, being a master's player, not just kind of popping up, but like holding on to it, kind
Hmm.
of being there and being a little bit of a gatekeeper because I couldn't really go higher. I realized that my understanding of the game hadn't really changed at all. But the
Yeah.
fact of the matter, I was just faster. I was just better. I didn't learn anything. And I always take this with me because like your rank does not necessarily, we're going to get in the draft here in a minute, folks. Don't have to listen to me vamp anymore, but your rank is not necessarily an indicator of your understanding of the game. And I just always use that as an example. I was just kind of fast because I was like 16.
Right. Yeah. Well, all right. Well, we are going to jump right into champ select between these two teams. You do see the teams player names on the left and right side. On Slew, we got Average Joey. Actually, I think they might be swapped around, but Slew, I believe it's Cozy Shroud, Maddie, Strumpus, Doxa, and Tsum. And over on the other side, which should be Illinois Institute of Technology today, it's going to be Average Joey, Biggest Big Boy, the Swag Turtle, Shmovie, and Fear the Poro. I got to say already, I feel like Illinois Institute is winning as far as team name or player names go.
Yeah, they're pretty good player names. You are correct. Slew is on the left side, and it's Illinois on the right side. On the red side, excuse me. Um, those are pretty great names. I really like the Swag Turtle mostly. We're probably going to see a Kali band in almost every one of our games. Kozu Shroud, I don't really want to call him a one trick, so to speak, but he is definitely a master. His name used to be Cozy Shroud, as in a Kali's Shroud. Of course, he's transitioned just to Cozy now. But so we're going to see that band almost every game. He is just stellar on the champion. I do like the Yumi band, though, in particular, coming out of Coach Miko and Zaga.
Yeah, and then also interesting Volibear ban. I feel like I haven't seen Volibear in many like streamed ranked matches or in pro play either. So this could be like a champion specific pick, or am I is there something I'm missing there?
I see one here on the list for Average Joey, not going back to more than about 5 or 6 days. So it could be just a bit of a target ban. You're right. I don't see him a lot. Now, Corky, we see constantly. Corky and Victor being kind of the big 1v1 guys in the mid lane right now. Every once in a while, you can like slot in an Oriana, but those are the two kind of pickups. And we'll see actually if Slew wants to just kind of go for the Victor for that matter with the Rise ban. So that does make sense.
So does Oriana still get picked these days in terms of having like a mid lane that's meant to stabilize and keep the wave pushed?
Yeah, I would probably go through like the Corky, the Victor, maybe even the Rise first. So she'd be a kind of like third or fourth-ish on the list.
Okay.
But not a terrible pick. We do have a bit of a center pick for those of you that follow L9 in the top lane. Sorry, LS, not L9.
Oh, you said center pick, yeah. I don't know the origin of that, but I have been hearing that a lot lately, like referring to like picks as being like sins and whatnot.
Yeah, he has some strong opinions when it comes to drafting. I do like the Jinx though. Primary big pick here for ADCs. So actually, as the Jin's hovered, I think it'll be a pick. Surprised we haven't seen any Aphelioses. Speaking of Jinx, but Jinx is a great S tier ADC.
So the crazy thing to me about Jinx, and this could just be me showing how outdated I am with the meta. I remember back when I was playing, Jinx was like, because of how low mobility she is, and she tends to be like a vulnerable target to just get jumped on. I'm surprised that we're in a meta where she can be picked this early in the draft before the enemy comp has like plenty of time to pick things like Nautilus. So what is it about Jinx that makes her so good, despite the fact that the enemy could just respond with like hard lockdown?
She is incredibly strong right now. We don't see a lot of things like Nautilus or even Renekton in the meta right now. We'll see like an Akali, we'll see a Xin Zhao, we'll see a Lee Sin, but without like a ton of other dive buddies or like a really, really good setup. You can play her safe enough. You can keep her far enough back with like a Janna, a Lulu, even like a Leona or Rakan that just kind of plays interference. Like I said, we don't see a lot of Nautiluses, so you're right. It is interesting to pick it up first and leave that open. But Tsum has a pretty long match history of supports in Challenger. Of Enchanters in Challenger. So I'm a little surprised to see it myself. I mean, I wouldn't have scouted out a Nautilus by any means. Not that I would really have scouted out a Gnar for that matter either. So some interesting picks here. The Samira on top of it, very interesting. Doxa is still a mid laner. He still does play mid lane for not wildcard, excuse me, for Taco Gaming. So he's still swapping between ADC and mid. So we're probably still going to see him on these like hyper aggressive ADCs, probably even some APCs. So while Samira doesn't really make a lot of sense in the meta, it does make quite a bit of sense for Doxa's kind of like transitional period right now.
Well, and especially right alongside this Nautilus, where I feel like Samira being an AD carry who really amplifies the power of supports who can lock down the opponent.
Yes.
Like they're making it very clear that it doesn't matter what support Illinois is going to be picking, they're going to want to jump on this Jinx and lock her down. So I think that support pick is going to be very important, and that's exactly why we're already seeing that Lulu get banned off the first ban of the second round for Slew.
Yeah. I'm trying to get rid of these supports. I also like the Hecarim and particularly the Viego ban. We have not seen either the mid lane excuse me, or the jungle out of Slew, and Viego is a hot pick right now, especially into the Xin Zhao. That's been kind of the common go-to. Does leave out Lee Sin, of course, which I like to see a lot into Xin Zhao instead of the Viego Bard as the support pick. I probably would have rather. Okay, I was probably about to rather a bit more of an actual shielding support like Janna. So I like that. They got me with the hover.
Yeah, I think Janna, I feel like if Slew had a third ban right there at the end, I feel like Janna could have been the next go-to because Lulu with a lot of ways protecting her ADC, Morgana with the spell shield, like those are clearly ones that IIT would be looking into to protecting that Jinx. But Janna's a good fallback in that case. Nidalee, interesting.
Yeah. Nidalee been coming
That's
up
all
in
good.
priority. She's a good AP, a jungler when you need a little bit. She has a pretty bad win rate so far, but she has been coming up in priority. I think today. Okay, interesting. We're gonna see how this one goes.
Okay, so we do have the Zeri enabled on this patch, I suppose. I
Yes.
see anyone mid.
It probably is going mid for Strumpus. It can technically go AD for Doxa. It can actually go top lane a little bit as well. To the Nidalee point, though, she is 9th game, I think, in the LAC as of today, but only 10th game, but only on 3 wins. So she is getting priority, but not getting a ton of wins. I'd have to check her out in like the LCS and LCK and stuff like that. But I'm seeing her quite a bit. It's an interesting pick. It kind of would probably have tipped off that they wanted an AD mid as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say, especially after seeing this area, I do think that gives some big credibility to what you were saying with them making the Nidalee pick just because of the magic damage. Because yeah, as you can tell, a lot of physical damage on Slew aside from that jungle pick right now.
Yeah, not a lot of scaling from the Slew side. Compared to, obviously the Veigar, the Jinx, and the Janna are going to scale pretty heavily. I don't want to say that, Slew has like a timer by any means. It's not, these like, it's not like a Jace. But in comparison, we don't see kind of a traditional hard carry ADC. Zeri has extremely confusing scaling. Basically, she just gets faster, but doesn't really get stronger. She's a very weird, enigmatic champion. We're going to have to see more time on her. Just going to have to see kind of how builds work out. I mean, I've seen full build Zeris that barely get 10% of their enemy champion's health after like a 10-second trade. It's very strange, but she doesn't take any damage. So like, it's a little,
Hit.
Yeah, she just doesn't get hit. She's so fast. She can jump over walls, much like Talon can. I think she has a silence. Her Q is a non-targeted, just kind of like I guess it's just like kind of like a machine gun burst almost. It's kind of like a Caitlyn Q, but it's very fast with almost no cooldown. You can just fire it out almost as fast as an auto attack. So you just kind of like skirt in a circle. She kind of like is on skates. She's a weird champion.
At that point, you would think that an AD carry should fall. Like if their damage is starting to fall off, you'd want them to kind of fall back into like a utility role. But as far as what I'm understanding, Zeri doesn't really have that much in the way of utility, right?
No, her ultimate, I believe, is a silence. There is some sort of CC on it, but I don't remember exactly what it is. So she has a slight amount of.
I think it's a silence.
Yeah.
I remember some people complain that it was Blitz alt.
Yeah, but in that vein, that means she has to be pretty close, and so it's confusing. Yeah, so she does have a slow also, I think, on her W, but it's like it's a skill shot. It's pretty easy to dodge skill shot. I played against Azeri in top lane just like the other day, and I almost never got hit by it, even without boots. It's not really easy to dodge. It's very slow wind up. I'm going to talk about her probably most of the game because she's a really interesting, really weird and cool champion. And of course, she's the newest thing. I'm surprised we didn't see a Senna because she got we still might. It's the best of 3, of course, but she got a pretty big buff this patch. And also, just to update anyone watching at home that might not be following the meta too much, the Chemtech Soul, the gross smoke dragon, whatever it's called, was removed from the game.
That's right. Yeah, that's a big change for this week as well.
Yeah. It was pretty overpowered. It was pretty confusing. It was pretty just weird and not fun to play, especially the map. So they just got rid of it, which is surprising to say the least. But
yeah, good on Riot to have that kind of response and that kind of being willing to own up to their mistakes and say, okay, everyone hates it. We think it could probably use some more time, but everyone hates it, so we'll get rid of it. So yeah, that's good on them.
Yeah, I agree. It probably could have used more time, but it probably is easier just to get rid of it. I think the thing that bothers me the most is that's basically 1/3 of the pre-patch is gone. I mean, there was
Yeah.
two Drakes and bounties. That's like really. I mean, yes, there was items and champ
Yeah.
changes and all
As far
that
as
stuff.
major like flavor change.
Yeah, but what we traditionally think of as a preseason, it was really just those three things, and now 1/3 of it's gone.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm surprised they didn't just like try to workshop different ways of having the Kimtech Drake because it wasn't where the where the fog was a huge part of why it was like so brutal, right? So I mean, like, what if they just like put the fog somewhere in lane, I guess, so that players could like be sneaky about getting back to lane or something. I don't know. I guess they just felt like it needed to affect the map in the jungle, like all the other
Yeah.
Drakes.
Yeah. Well, I think that I think it wanted to be similar to the other ones. I think there was other places. I think there's other places to put it, and I think there's also just other things that could have been done
Yeah,
with
like they
the
just gave
fog.
up.
I mean, I don't think it has. Maybe instead of what's it called, a stealth, it's like a ticking dot. But like the more drakes you have, the less damage you take from the
Yeah.
dot, or something like that. You know, what I mean, or it's a slow, and the same thing. You get less of a slow if you have a bunch of the chem drake. You know, I
Yeah.
think there's a lot of things that could happen, and because most part of the issue is people were just tired of the stealth affecting the way that vision worked. Basically, you just needed a ton of pink wards in really bad spots.
Yeah, and I think it kind of goes back to, oh, never mind, we have a little bit of a fight starting off here in the bot lane with Fear the Pearl getting caught out. An interesting flank started by Doxa, and that's going to be a lot of damage. And First Blood goes over to the Samira on the side of Slew, just about, actually before minions even spawn, so very quick aggression they're putting out.
Yeah, it's gonna be a nice 400 gold in the pocket of Doxa. I do like that Fear of the Portal did not flash or ignite or anything. He was absolutely dead. Doxa leveled the E first for the dash. It was done dead to rights. No point in making it worse.
Yeah, and I think that a minor mistake. We'll see how it ends up playing out from here, but I do think that was a little bit of lack of togetherness on the side of Illinois. I think Jinx and Janna both, like Janna was in a very vulnerable spot. Maybe they just didn't expect that Slew would go for such a cheeky start, but that ended up leaving Janna wide open to a flank on the from the river from the Samira.
So that mid bush take has become a pretty big prio in professional league for probably the past like 6 months or so. So to me, that just kind of shows a difference of a support AD duo that is used to competitive league compared to a support AD duo that's probably a little bit more used to like solo queue, maybe 5-man drafts and things like that. It would seem extremely uncommon unless you do it in draft space or in a scrim slog all the time.
Are you talking about that ward that's in the lane? That's like the middle brush. Gotcha.
Yes,
okay.
yeah. So that take is a very, very common one, especially with an engaged support like this. I could see how the Janna Jinx would probably just give it up, but that means completely giving it up, not just kind of
not just staying nearby. That's the fact that Janna stuck around kind of makes me think that they just like didn't see it coming. They're like,
exactly.
But either way, that's kind of a start that Slew's going to want. We mentioned during the draft that Slew's going to want to get as much of an advantage as they can before they start to fall off scaling wise. Obviously, still early mistakes, so I'm sure Illinois isn't too worried. But they're going to have to make sure things like that don't happen again.
No, and it's also an easy thing to work on. I mean, once you've seen that once, you probably aren't going to get gotten by it again. It's kind of a fool me once, shame on me kind of deal. And like I said, I'm just kind of used to seeing it at this point. And so that was the kind of cue that I'm talking about here with Strumpus and Zeri, this kind of little bullet time thing that she has coming out of her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay, we got a little bit of an invade coming from the bot lane of Slew here. He's just trying to put some eyes in there to see where biggest big boy might be hanging out right now. But he was able to finish his blue, so he's going to be heading over the top side soon. But that information is what allows Slew's jungler to say, all right, well, I'm going to chill over here in the enemy jungler's top side, and they won't be here. There's a dive coming up, and yes, going for it. The stun lands from Cozy Shroud, which means the spear is a very easy follow-up. The kill comes through, even with Strumpus there. It probably didn't really need him, but it does pay down a teleport from Veigar. So really good initiation from Slew right there.
Yeah, going to see if they get out, though.
Yeah, that stun's going to keep them in place with biggest big boy finally showing up. A flash forced out of Strumpus, but it's still Maddie who is in a little bit of danger, and that's going to be a kill going over to biggest big boy, who got a little greedy trying to chase these people out of his jungle. Those low health might have baited him in there.
Yeah, that was a fantastic play from Slew. Really well practiced out. Cozy called out that he had the cannon mini. Oh, we got to fight here again.
Another fight, the Swag Turtle getting flashed on. He has to flash over the wall to get away. Actually, was that that was a Nidalee, yeah, who just flashed on him. So
Both Maddie flashed and Swag, but
Mhm.
that was just a great set piece. Honestly, Cozy called out the wave. He had both Maddie and Strumpus on the way, and Doxa and Tsum rotated to see where Biggest Bad Boy was, as you called out right before the dive. Really well played. We're gonna see if there's been a punishment here from Biggest Bad Boy, though.
All right, yeah, we got the
Big boy.
Shinzal coming down from a gank and off screen. There is going to be Fear the Poro dying, and Biggest Bad Boy, unfortunately, a little bit too late in order to get some kind of cleanup here to fix the mistake from his bot lane. That's going to be the Janna going down once again, and Doxa and Tsum feeling really good about this lane.
Yeah, this time, unfortunately, for the Poro does not commit the flash. He probably got hooked there off screen. Probably just should have blown it, not taking the second kill. Maybe get the return with Biggest Big Boy, or at least just kind of live. A little bit unfortunate there. Tsum obviously showing he has proficiency with the Anchor Boy.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, it's always sad when the second guild comes around and you still die without losing flash, because like you said, the first one, it's fine. You're like, okay, I'm probably dead. Let me save the flash for later, but never mind. I'll get back to that point later as Jin Zhao is once again back in the mid lane. Got that huge wall jump from Strompus on the Zeri. He's trying to kite it out, but there's 3 people from Illinois at this point. You have to imagine he's going to go down very soon. Can Strompus get to this blast, come and get away? And no, Jin Zhao hits a mid-flight, and it's going to be 1 kill going over to Illinois.
Yeah, the wind becomes lightning on the last tap there with the blast cone. Not much else he could do. He blew the flash in the dive top lane, so it's a really good return punish from Biggest Big Boy and the Swag Turtle. They know the timers. They know that they lost in the top lane, so you got to make something going again here in the mid lane without the flash.
Yeah, good point. Like a 4-kill lead on the side of Slew before that play happened, but Biggest Big Boy still did not feel deterred, and he felt like he still was able to get something. But we got another potential hook coming through from Nautilus right here. He even flashes for it, just gets the auto just to put the snare down, and Jinx dodges the Q, kiting on the wrong side, not close to support. Could get a shield from Janna, but not able to get close enough. Janna's too close now. Might just go down as well as Doxa continues to get the hits on. Run towards her jungler. Actually, that's not the jungler. That's the Veigar who puts up the stun. Has got Tsum locked in there, but I don't think he's got the cooldowns to really finish this off. Yeah, Veigar not 6 yet, otherwise Doxa would sure to be dead here.
Yeah, good call out. Without the flash, I don't think the Swag Turtle had anything. There was finally the Janna flash, and it worked out perfectly. He was just waiting that for this moment at 6:30.
Yeah, I flashed to get away, right? I think
Yes.
Maybe the shield was down. I wonder if flashing into shield as AD carrying would have been good, but I don't know. Maybe he probably was a little worried that they would just both die if that would have happened. But either way, that roam from the Veigar is going to allow Strombus to put some damage on his towers. Jinx is now rotated to try and defend it.
Yeah, because of the Swag Turtles roam down, they kind of swap lanes. We'll probably see him swap back here in a second or two once the waves kind of connect and crash. A bunch of wards here for the side of Illinois. I think we actually just realized that we have the wrong graphic. It is not MSE. It is Illinois Institute of Technology, IIT.
Off screen, got a kill from Doxa ADC onto the Janna. Janna going down once again. No flash up that time. But yeah, maybe. I was about to say maybe we'll see a replay to see how that happened, but I forgot this is not LCL. Not getting replays.
With the low health of Tsum, I'm just going to go out on a limb and the ignite that he probably just got a either a hex flash or a hook in lockdown onto Fear, drop the flash, and then Dox can follow up really, really easily.
Definitely. All right, we got a little bit of poke coming in from Gnar up there after making this transformation. Cozy Shroud still just pushing this in. A little bit of damage on the tower. He's gotten 1 plate so far, I believe. I wonder if we're going to see another visit coming in from Maddie anytime soon. He's on the bottom side right now. Going to get spotted out by all these control wards in there. I'd
like to see Slew pay attention to the wards here. Lots of vision from Illinois protecting their bot side. You know, they're still kind of getting some issues here in the 2v2. But it's going to be very, very hard for Maddie to really do anything. We do see Tsum in the top lane, see if anything goes. I probably scouted out enough.
Yeah, I do wonder, those 2 control wards that are like so close to each other down by the Drake, actually, never mind, I will hold that thought, because it looks like Slew wants to go in for the dive, and we're really good hook by Tsum. Biggest Big Boy is going to die before his flash came up, so he couldn't get out of there. Now Average Joey is the one in danger, flashes into the Renekton, gives him a point blank stun easily, as a double kill comes through for the jungler. The Swag Turtle's here to see if he can clean something up, but he's not going to. Oh, he actually does manage to get a kill onto Zeri, but trades over his life in the process, and that's sure to be a tower knockdown for Slew. Oh, all right, we got some more fighting now on the bot side as Doxa. Wow, was that a 1v2? It was, as his support was all the way in the top lane. Bot lane of Illinois probably thought they were safe there to jump on the Samir, but Doxa is strong right now.
Yeah, unfortunately, it doesn't look like the exhaust went down onto Doxa. Pulls out the 2v1. Not sure how that happened. Top lane, another pretty good set piece. They pulled up Tsum. It's 8-9 minutes in the game. Need to be aware that that's typically a support roam time.
Yep.
Strumpus and Maddie ready for it as well. Of course, Swag Turtle does come up with an extra kill, but in the end, it's a 5-for-1 across the map. It's a unofficial ace. I think someone was up at the very end.
Yeah, and what I was going to mention before that started breaking down was like again, I'd like the insistence on vision for Illinois down on the bot side. I just feel like those wards aren't really in the best spot. Like they have
No.
the right idea; they need to have vision down because this team is moving around a lot. But it's just I don't know what they're going to see. Like they're not going to see much that's like valuable with those two wards there.
No, I like the one that Tsum's pulling out now.
Yeah.
It is a major entrance and exit into the jungle, but the Pixel Brush, if you are aware of where Strompist is just not really useful. I mean,
Yeah.
Pixel Brush, oh, wow, that's a hook.
Yeah, another hook from Tsum. That looked like max range right there as Fear the Poro dies for the 5th time into Swag Turtle, and Biggest Big Boy can only look while Janna is taken down yet again.
Yeah, warding is hard. It's easy to place a bad ward. Like I said, I don't like Pixel very much as long as you're just calling out, especially in a competitive 5v5 like
Yeah.
this. You're on comms, you scrim. If you don't know which way Strompus went to the top side of the map or the bottom side of the map, that's just your fault. That has nothing to do with the warding. You should be communicating that. So
Yeah,
Pixel, I'm not a big fan of. And so, yeah, I think maybe closer into the river, maybe near the Drake or something like that would actually spread a lot. Ooh, Doxa in a bit of a situation.
Yeah, he got very far, but his support is here just in time. The damage the Doc's gonna put down doesn't matter because he dies anyway. Maybe felt a little greedy with the fact that he has a completed item. Does Illinois want to keep chasing? They do not. Jerry's gonna take that first tower in the mid lane. A good snipe from Maddie goes through onto the Jin Zhao and kills him while he's trying to take Gromp.
Yeah, a little greedy of Biggest Big Boy to stop there. Also pretty greedy of Doxa himself. He does have the completed item, but an incredible layering of the CC. The knock-up from the Jin Zhao into the root from the Jinx, into the knock-up from the Janna. Yes, he has the Immortal Shield bow complete, but if he's not auto-attacking, he's not really healing whatsoever.
Yeah, but I think we just missed another kill from a kill onto the Swag Turtle in mid lane. Once again, it looked like it was Tsum making the roams. I think Illinois really needs to get some better vision down to see where this Nautilus is going because while all of Slew is playing well, I do think it's Tsum that's really getting the ball rolling here with all these dives and all this setup.
Yeah, over 50% kill participation already, and there was 2 dives, I believe, in the top lane before he was making his way up there. Pretty impressive. We see the gold here as well, a 2,500 lead there for Doxa, not too dissimilar in the mid lane, and just about 2,000 for Cozy in the top lane. I was actually going to mention this a few moments ago before that previous dive. The CS for Average Joey, a little bit unfortunate. Flash forward here from Maddie.
Okay, and Maddie gonna get the kill on Shmoovy, who not even safe close back by his inner tower, drops the Herald right there, and it's likely to be the bot tower on red side falling very soon for the Poro there to protect Vagar. Let's see if Strompus can get out of here free. Oh my gosh, that's a flash from Jin Zhao as well, but unfortunately the rest of Slew is here ready to counter. Still is not able to get this kill onto Strompus. He's just life stealing up, and that's going to be Jin Zhao going down. Meanwhile, on top side, it's like a miss ultimate from Average Joey, or maybe, oh, Cozy probably flashed out.
Yeah, probably. Probably Joey was doing the Gnar and a flash out. I like the fight in the middle as well. I understand the idea from Biggest Big Boy, get something going, get a big shutdown. Unfortunately, they just don't really own their bot side of the jungle anymore, especially with Doc's pressure.
Oh my goodness, was that a Hex Flash over the wall to the initiation of the Jinx, but Fear the Poro pops that Janna ultimate to keep her AD carry safe, and I don't know, just delaying the inevitable as Maddie gets another off-screen snipe. I have to imagine we're going to be seeing a lot of those as those spears are killing their opponents max distance. We got Doxa going in another spear, but that's not going to connect him to Jin Zhao, who I believe ultimate protects him from anything hitting him from outside that range. We got Samira diving in with the ult, and the Jin Zhao goes down once again. Samira is diving so deep, an Immortal Shield ball almost keeping her alive for so long, but all right, that's going to be a lot more kills going over onto Illinois. Doxa is the only casualty on that side.
Yeah, Maddie comes out with a triple. Definitely not a Yanko Sneedly here, as he is definitely cued in with his spear sniping everyone. He got Jinx and Janna in the back lane without actually even being on screen. I think it was a full spear.
Yep. Yeah, he's gotten a few off-screen full spear kills, and an ultimate from Strompus comes through right there. He's going to almost get the kill onto Average Joey. Biggest Big Boy wants to make something work once again. Is he going to dive in? Yes, he does. But Strompus has proven time and time again that he can keep kiting until he gets these kills. He is fending off 3 people on the side of Illinois. And the ultimate, is that going to be enough from Average Joey? It is, with the ultimate flying in from Shmoopy, and that's going to be a shutdown, taking down Strompus and put some gold in the pocket of that AD carry.
little overzealous there from Strumpus. This is the damage issue with Zarya that I was kind of talking about.
Yeah.
You know, despite a really long fight, everyone was only just kind of low. No one was really cleared out. Probably could have gone over the wall, but she's just not very damage heavy.
Yeah. Yeah, and it does feel like the Jinx ult really sealed the deal for Strauss there.
Sure.
Okay, Maddie getting another kill on the Jin's out. Yeah, it felt like he was close to almost pulling something off there, but then that Jinx rocket was just like, all right, you gotta get out of here, dude.
Yeah, it was a good play from Average Joy. The flash into the wall, into the stun again from his Q, into the Dark Sworders, the Swag Turtles baby cage there, and well, yes, of course, the Jinx ult finishes it off, but there's not really much you can do.
Exactly. Yeah, speaking of Jinx, it's funny we saw, or not Jinx, Cage. Never mind, we got more fighting. T-Sim dives in once again. Fear the Portal and Stasis probably going to die as soon as he comes out. T-Sim dies, though. Still more low health targets as Doxa is popping off his ultimate, trying to get some kills in. Is it Slew overreaching here? As Illinois is able to peel off 3 kills from Slew, and that's a lot of money that's going to go into their pockets.
Yeah, lots and lots of gold. 1,000 gold shut down from Italy. It was 11-0 and 4 at the time. I think it was about 250, maybe 300 shut down there for T-Sum as well. The score is still 14,000 gold.
Yeah.
So it's going to take a couple more times like that, but it's definitely an overreach. It's definitely IIT biting back, showing that they can tango even with, a decent gold deficit.
Yeah, it's good to see that in crumble in that situation, because I feel like what can happen against lower skilled teams is even when Slew makes those kind of really bold plays, sometimes lower skilled teams can just become intimidated. They'd be like, "Oh no, they're gonna try and win. I'm scared." But like Illinois was like, "Okay, they're stupid and they're throwing," so they knew that was happening and they were able to get some kills where maybe a less coordinated team would have somehow died.
Yeah, no, these guys definitely, the Illinois guys definitely have an idea of their CC layering. They know how their champions work. This isn't just kind of like a one trick, hopefully, that it kind of works out. They clearly have played as a team before, haven't looked into their history and how long they've been scrimming together, but clearly they know how to work and operate as a team. They can see when Slew, and just in general, really only Cozy's the only one that hasn't overextended to this point. With Stromp, we've seen it a couple of times. Docs, we've seen it a couple of times now with Maddie and T-Sim. Illinois is ready for it. They just need to kind of hold things back a little bit in the early part of the game. They wouldn't really be in too bad of a situation right now.
Yeah, and I'm curious to see in game 2 if either of the teams are going to put a little bit more attention into the Drake objective, because I noticed last series I don't think Slew got many Drakes. All right, that's another kill. Is the Janna all going to keep Average Joey alive? It does not, as Doxa able to sneak in and get that last hit in there, but he is trapped in a cage, so he will die for sure. T-Sim kind of just hanging out there. Couldn't do much to save his AD carry, but on the top side, Cozy takes that Rift Herald in there, and he's probably going to finish off his tower very soon.
Yeah, no QSS on Doxa. No way he's out of that. You're right, there's not a lot of priority on the Drakes. The reality is that these games are so fast. A single Drake, 2 Drakes, even 3 Drakes is not super valuable. It's just the soul that becomes really valuable, and we're not going to be seeing souls in most of these games.
Definitely,
so there's not really much reason to spend the time going for the single one. Whoa, nice kill.
And flash up. You have to imagine Maddie was going to go for that. I think Slew wants to end the game right here on this push with 3 dead on the side of Illinois. It's hard to imagine that they have much to do, much that they can do to protect the game right now. Shmoovy almost at half HP. Strompus wants to go in there and finish skill. He is going to. Damage not that good on Zeri, but with this much of a lead, it doesn't matter. Biggest Big Boy wants to come in there and protect his base. The Janna is back as well. Is T-Sim going to get slowed down to his death? Oh, is that going to be a good ultimate from Gnar? It is, despite this deficit. They're actually putting up a decent fight. The Veigar is back. He's getting some stuns, but Cozy's Shroud is too big and too tanky. He's getting so many kills right now as the Spike Turtle is kind of stuck in some minions, it looks like, trying to get to help his team, but it doesn't matter. Okay, that actually does look like the end of the siege from Slew, as they're just slowly getting picked off, and I guess cooldowns are preventing them from getting the kills that they want. Spike Turtle's gonna die to some minions. Okay.
Yeah, Dox is still here. He doesn't get stunned, but Biggest Big Boy, of course, still there as well. Nice win becomes Lightning to get onto Doxa to clean up the fight. Double kill there for Jinx. They do hold on again. 15,000 gold behind, but honestly, if you keep doing this, the game will keep going your way. I mean, 10 more minutes of this, your Jinx is going to have 2.5, 3 items. Yep. You're going to have a couple towers down. They do have double inhibs down, so it's not like Slew can't slow down the pace for like a second or two and just kind of walk it in. Get some nice timers with everybody together. Look for a pick here with Maddie.
Oh, he didn't even have red buff. Not sure where the burning was coming from there.
Ignite, or sorry, Smite.
Oh, got you.
Red Cement has a burn on it.
Okay, cool, cool. Yeah, I do feel like, yeah, as we mentioned, if this happens enough times, Illinois could get back in this, but I think it would have to happen like what, four more times,
Probably about.
maybe four more of what just happened there, and then Illinois will probably be on even footing where they can start relying on their scaling to take the win for them. But I don't think SLU is going to get that over eager, that impatient. Knock on wood, but I guess we'll see what happens. As they're now slowly starting to push all these lanes in. I do think they want that third and final inhibitor to be down so they can get that increased strength on the super minions. Okay, a little bit of poking going through there. Yeah, Illinois can't do much to protect this inhibitor. That's maybe the Renekton going in, but he gets stunned by the Vaegir cage. Pops the stopwatch right there to keep himself alive for a little bit longer, but he's going to go down anyway, but it looks like a kill went over onto average Joey at the same time. Both top laners down as SLU is making their final push into the Nexus. Stromp is so low, not able to do more damage they're doing to him. Teesum goes in with that hook. Team not able to really follow up with too much damage, and they just going to slowly kill the Nexus while not really fighting?
I think Matty has taken things into his own hands. He's 16-2. He's talking in Twitch chat at this point. So I feel confident in his ability to end the game with the rest of the SLU boys. I think they're just trying to kind of get the angle, and here it kind of is.
Yeah, it's death by 1,000 paper cuts right now as Illinois' Nexus is going down 1 HP per 10 seconds. It seems like it's even going to be the Nautilus that has to finish the deal because the rest of his teammates just seem to want to have some fun. And that's going to be game one going over to the side of SLU in a pretty commanding fashion.
Yeah, a bit of a G2 ending there from the SLU players, especially a Strumpist in the fountain without any sight of getting out of it. Of course, they were 15,000 gold ahead. They laid the groundwork for the first 12 to 15 minutes. And as I was mentioning, yeah, there's like a ton of stuff. He's right here. There's a ton of stuff that they can do to fail to let Illinois Tech get back in, but it's going to take an incredible long amount of time. One more siege, one more connected. That was the first time that all five of them were together for the entirety of the game. That's really all they needed to do was get just a good recall going. I think they had a couple picks out and then just kind of clean it up comfortably and then dive the fountain.
Yeah, and some thoughts on that Zeri play. It looked pretty good. It was Strompa seemed like he knew what he was doing. He got a bit overzealous at some times and seemed like he didn't quite know exactly what Zeri's damage was. But I wouldn't be surprised if he just ran it back because he seemed like he was having such a good time.
Yeah, I mean, that is kind of Zeri's MO, is that she is a little bit confusing, a little easy to kind of get overzealous. She's so fast that you're kind of all of a sudden on top of a champion that you think that you might have been kiting, but actually you're not. You're just kind of running right at them. I believe that her range increases when she's kiting backwards and decreases when you're kiting forward. So it kind of becomes a little bit awkward with which way you're playing in and out. People obviously kite back and forth pretty rapidly. So she's a very interesting champion. I'm glad that Strumpus did pull her out just to kind of see what she can do. I'm not really the biggest fan of the pick in general. But she's kind of cool and fun.
Yeah, she's interesting to watch. Yeah, as far as bright spots go for Illinois in that last match, I liked the Vaegir, honestly. It wasn't able to scale up and get off to a great start, but the way it was, the way the cage could like control SLU's movements in those fights, means that if Illinois weren't so far behind, a lot of those fights could have gone really well in their favor because SLU didn't seem like they were playing with much regard for that stun for the cage. We saw a lot of them getting like locked up, but maybe their mindset was just that they were so ahead that it didn't matter if they got stunned because we saw Cozy on that Renekton a lot of times get stuck in the cage and then just say, "All right, now what?" as Illinois can finish him off.
Yeah, Swag Turtle is also a really big Vaegir player, so I'm sure he's pretty comfortable at lining up the edge of the E on you to basically more or less get an instant stun. He was able to use it in pretty effective ways to keep, particularly like Strumpus down in the early game, waiting for the jungler assistance. And there was like one or maybe two ganks. One definitely that did get a kill on the Strumpus. So he's a pretty proficient Vaegir player. I don't know if it warrants a ban. We're going to be going to draft here pretty soon, so we'll kind of see if they do think that it's worthwhile. I'm not sure it really warrants a ban, but he is a really big Vaegir player. We could definitely see it in the next match. Personally, I want to see something like really stupid or and annoying, like a Corky, and just kind of be done with.
Oh boy. Just
mid lane.
Yeah. It's funny. Do you remember when Vaegir E used to be instant?
Yep.
Yeah, that was. I can't believe that was ever in the game. But I
Luckily,
mean,
no one could aim, so it didn't really matter.
yeah, exactly. It would just pop up, but miss completely. All
Yeah.
right, so the Akali ban goes through on the side of Illinois. I believe that was the first champ they banned last time as well.
Yes.
Same with the Yumi on the side of SLU. So mirrored bans so far.
Yeah. Like I said, not only is Cozy an incredible Akali player, she is also just extremely strong on this patch and for the next probably coming patches. So we're probably not going to see Akali played really at all, unless someone is really confident in their ability to shut her down.
Yep, there's that Corky though being locked out here is
Yeah, I know.
on the ban list of SLU. So none of that in the mid lane. I don't remember what SLU's bans were last time,
It
but
was also a quirky ban, also a Yumi ban. So far, the bans are the exact same. I actually had a chance to chat with Miko, the head coach of SLU, the other day. Kind of talked to him about the drafting and how they go. That actually is a Vagar ban. Interesting.
yeah, and also
Um,
Nautilus ban.
Yeah, and so he was telling me that it's what you kind of might expect is that he's got a good plan. He sees things that need to be dealt with. Probably like that Vagar's coming straight from Miko, just saying, okay, we're done with it. But then he kind of opens it up to the floor. Cozy, what are you thinking here into this champion? Maddie, what are you thinking here into this and out? And so it's kind of like a group effort. Miko has a vision, and he tries to allow the players to kind of work in and around what he's seeing for the match.
I'm shocked at how much priority Illinois seems to put on having that AD carry early pick. It kind of made sense last time when it was a power pick like Jinx, but I don't believe Zaya is that strong right now in the meta, isn't she? Or is she?
We've seen a couple of her. She's not. I wouldn't say she's really good or bad, honestly.
Uh-huh.
I think she's really, really good when you can stick Rakan with her or another engaged champion. But as a first pick on blue side, it is a little bit interesting.
Mhm.
It does open up kind of just a pretty easy
Yeah.
jungle pick like that. A little bit surprised about the Callista. She's great and fun and very, very fun to just dominate a lane with,
Uh-huh.
but not really first pick potential typically.
Yeah, both first picks very strange on the side of Illinois and SLU. Another thing with the Zaya is I feel like with her ultimate, she tends to be a pretty good anti-dive champ. So I mean, like it's weird to pick Zaya not necessarily in response to a lot of enemy dive, but what's also strange to me is seeing the Zaya and then taking a champ like Callista who wants to throw her support in to start fights, and Zaya's gonna be able to get out of that very easily. Zaya can get away from Jin dives very easily. So kind of decent setup for the Zaya so far.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm a pretty big fan of Lulu, sorry. But okay, that makes a bit more sense. I was about to say I actually typically wouldn't want a Lulu with the Zaya after seeing the Callista because she's going to be just in so much danger. You're right. The Featherstorm can get her out of some bad situations. We obviously thresh a ton with Callista. But if Zaya has a support like a support like Lux or Lulu and Thresh is on her, she's just going to die.
Yeah.
Even with the ult. Like the Victor pickup, that's kind of the number 2 guy I was talking about under Corky. Not really surprising at all. It's pretty easy go to, especially for a guy who plays Vagar a lot. It makes sense as a second pick.
And I think Victor one of the bans for SLU last champ slot? I think he
I
might
don't
have.
think so. I
But
don't
either way,
remember though.
now that his Vagar is gone, we're seeing pull that. And then yeah, like you mentioned, the Thresh grabbed over there for SLU as well. Okay, getting rid of that Renekton. No more sitting for Cozy Shroud.
Yeah, lots of target bans coming out of Illinois right now.
Yeah. Yep. Have to. Yep. Knew that Morgana ban was coming through once again. SLU on another support champ that wants to make picks, and that Morgana would be a good way to stop that. So, I believe the Lulu. Okay, Lulu was something that they teased. So Illinois could end up going for the Lulu this time.
Yeah, like I said, as much as I am liking her on this patch, I'm not really comfortable with it into a Callista Thresh. That's just a hardcore kill lane. Lulu, Zaya to me signals just kind of more of a farm lane. Relax. We missed a bit. No, okay. Sorry, it was just delayed. Aurelia is Cozy's kind of number 2 pick, so that's another target ban there. If he's not playing Akali, he's typically playing Aurelia.
Okay, so with all the okay, so Karma goes through. I was
Oh
actually
God,
wondering if you're the port for
no.
Karma. Okay, so
Oh,
that's a mid Karma.
no, it's a top lane Karma. It's a no farm support Karma that's come up in the past like week or two. It takes Moonstone Renewer. It's just gonna be a funnel game into Callista. It is super toxic. It's super awful.
Okay,
It's
so
basically. Do you remember what funneling is?
yeah, are they putting
It's
all the eggs in the or in the
it's
Callista
kind of like
basket?
funneling. He's probably gonna have about 30 CS.
So
It.
So how does that work then? Because which lane is he funneling? Who's going to be coming up to the Karma lane?
Probably the jungler Maddie for most of it, maybe Strumpus a little bit, and then as soon as he has Moonstone and maybe like 2.5 items, he's just going to be on top of Cozy for the rest of the game. Or I mean, Doxa.
Okay, okay. And so yeah, we're hearing from the back that Strombus does play some Karma mid, so there is a decent chance it could go mid. But this last pick right here would tell the story for us if it is something like a I don't know, like if it's an obvious top laner, then Karma's definitely going mid. But I guess we will find out right now. Is that yep, that Lulu is the pick up there, and a Shin as well. So some good protection on the side of Illinois. I guess based on how that first game went, they probably feel like they just need to slow the tempo and stay alive better. Especially with a champ like Victor who just wants to clear out the lanes. Lee Sin, so that's probably going to be a top Lee Sin. Okay.
Probably it can be in the mid lane a little bit, but Cozy does play Lee Sin. I wouldn't really call it his third pick, but he has played it from time to time.
Mhm.
Um, we will see obviously where everything slides out. As the production mentioned, Strumpus does play Karma from time to time. We've just seen a lot of Smite Karma, which is just really not fun, and I'm so sad that it exists.
Wait, does the top lane Karma play Smite?
Yes,
What?
yeah,
Wow.
it's not super interactive.
Uh,
But Cozy is more of a Lee Sin player than Strompost.
okay, that makes some sense. Okay, so it looks like Strampus in the mid lane is going to opt for a champ who also wants to not really interact too much. I don't think Karma's wave clear is as good as Victor though, is it?
No, no, not even close.
Yeah,
That's why we usually see it in the top lane because if you're up against a Shen, if you're up against a Gnar, if you're up against even like something like Renekton, they're going to push you in, but not
yeah.
horrifically.
Yeah, I mean, sure, if Karma had access to that ultimate all the time, then Karma's wave clear would be good. But with that high cooldown, you're not going to be popping those waves as much as you'd like to be.
It
Um,
gets better, like level 6, 7, and 8. But getting to that point is pretty hard, and that's also where Victor gets better. So you're never going to really kind of keep up with him. We do see the smite for Strompus, so it's not going to be the dreaded, or sorry, the ignite. So it's not going to be the dreaded smite top Karma. We'll still have to see if he picks up an actual item or a support item. He probably will pick up an actual one, but still be like a supporting champion. Callista, speaking of like last game's lack of scaling, Callista is truly you have to win the lane, have to win game.
mhm.
But with a Zinzao near her, with a Karma and a Thresh, it's very, very doable. Funnel everything, not the true funnel, but put
Right.
all your weight behind Doxa and this Callista, and it can really run through a map very, very fast.
Mhm. Yeah, and Karma's summoner spell choices I thought were pretty interesting too, because I feel like normally a mid laner takes ignite if their goal for the first like 10, 20 minutes of the game is to like hard win lane or like get some kills on their enemy laner. I don't really see a Karma going in on a Victor that much. So I wonder if they're gonna be like setting up for some like in the jungle skirmishes, ways for Karma to easily get some kills.
It's an interesting pick. I actually like Ignite more for later games in general. It scales pretty well. You're right, you do get those kind of early level kills, but it becomes way more powerful later in the game, much more damage, and of course the anti heal becomes much more prevalent in later parts of the game when lifesteal comes in. Part of it could just be that because of the unleashed teleports, where you cannot teleport anywhere except for a tower for the first 14 minutes of the game, is that Strumpus is probably just not too worried. He can't really, TP bot lane and make a play going. All he'd be really doing is just kind of resetting mid. So he might as well have like a little bit more lane pressure and then a little bit more kind of mid to late game pressure as the support champion he's probably playing anyway.
Yeah, and it could also work if you're expecting the enemy laner is going to come to commit to mid. Sorry, the enemy jungler is going to come to mid a lot. If there's like a return kill possibility, so you're like, all right, well I've got ignite, so if they come in on me and they want to fight me, I might be able to get some return kills.
Yeah.
Which definitely tends to happen sometimes with a team that feels like they're a lot better. We I don't know if you saw LCS yesterday, but there were a couple moments where Bwipo, the top laner of Team Liquid, was just
Yes. Yeah.
got 2v1 and he got a kill or got both the kills. So definitely a possibility. Get
So I
some.
have a really big gripe with that. I know this is super tangential. I do not see a single world where Bwipo is more valuable to Team Liquid than Core JJ, and I'm very, very disappointed in the current sub situation. I
Yeah,
understand it's a shitty situation. Core JJ doesn't have a visa. I'm not like digging on anyone, but just
yeah.
with the current situation that they have of two international players, I think that Han Sama Core JJ is a much better team than Bwipo, Han Sama, and Rails. He's actually a really good support. I think he's a great support. I think he's a fantastic
Forgot his name
academy
too.
support, and I
Uh,
think he's gonna Ayla. Thank you. I think he's going to be in the LCS at the very latest by spring of next year, maybe even
Yeah,
this summer. But again, it's Core JJ. He's probably the best player
so
in
good.
the LCS.
Yeah, he's
That's the end
proven
of my
it.
tangent.
Yeah.
I don't like that it's Whippo over Core JJ, but there's not really much you can do about it.
We'll see tomorrow if it punishes them. But today we do have SLU facing off against Illinois in game 2. As we got a bit of side swap going on. Let's see if the bot lane shakes out any similarly as it did early on last time. I don't believe it will with the positions being swapped. It'd be kind of hard for SLU to pull off the exact same thing. But this time it is Fear the Poro who gets that ward in there first.
Well,
Uh,
that's exactly what I was saying from the previous game. For the Poro, definitely not aware of this common mid bush take in competitive, and he learned it instantly, just like that, just like he should have. He doesn't necessarily need to drop the ward there, especially as a Lulu into a Thresh
right.
Ballista. But being aware of that take, that's probably pretty much the primary thing that bot lane is doing right now in the early game without like a designed invade.
Well, and also, so I wasn't paying close attention, but did Tsim show up there with just or with his AD carry, or was he by himself? Oh, never
Uh,
mind. There's gonna be a kill going over immediately on the average Joey. Have to imagine the flash is gonna come through. I think he's gonna live actually. As Maddie not able to get it up, but the flash comes through from Cozy Shroud. The kill goes on to the Lee Sin, starting off 1-0 shortly after the minion spawn.
2 flashes for one isn't too bad. Joey
Yeah.
can TP if need be, but it will be a take of the blue, which is really kind of the biggest punishment, I think, here. A little bit greedy of him to just kind of be standing there,
Yeah.
especially knowing that Strompist had already been trading with Biggest Big Boy on the Pixel Brush. A little bit unfortunate, but probably not the end of the world for him.
Yeah, a bit unlucky that in the game where the bot lane decides to clean up their early game play, we do see the top side kind of slipping up. But
Yeah.
if it was a best of 5, they'd get it in the next game for sure.
Yeah,
But
absolutely. It's kind of a reverse of the sides of what we had of last game.
yeah, it's like where the coach mid games is yelling at one of the players about something, but the rest of the team isn't listening, so they make
Yeah.
the same mistake next game.
Pretty literally.
Yeah, he's like, all right, this message isn't for me, so I don't need to listen.
Yeah, I do it a lot myself.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so Tsun gets level 2, so he wants to go in for a hookup, essentially a flay to follow. Does not get it. Shmovie with the penguin emote and the Tsun missed flay. It seems like Slew Balling getting a little taunted here as they're like, no, we're gonna get some hits. Almost a tower shot taken from Doxa right there.
Really good awareness out of Illinois, knowing that minion was going to tip Tsim over to the 2 level, not wanting to give anything over. Actually, like a lot of respect between the first game and the second game from this Illinois team, or Illinois duo, sorry, in the bot.
Ooh, it's really good damage going on with Doxa right there. They're actually not really the most sustained involved champ. So, okay, Doxa, is he able to get some hits? Flay pulls out tower range a little bit, but the exhaust goes down onto the AD carry. Lulu wants to try and finish this off. Okay, glad to not see the flash come through. I have oftentimes seen a lot of players just get really over eager and flash in on that. And then put themselves in a bad situation. All right, got Biggest Big Boy getting collapsed on by Slew. He's probably going to get out of there. Yep, that flash is going to be safe for him, but Maddie does not have his flash, having used it earlier, but it doesn't matter because the move speed allows him to get in there and gets the kill on Biggest Big Boy anyway. Where'd that burst of move speed come from for Viego?
Viego has a move speed on his E, but Maddie has a slow on his W, so it kind of canceled out. Also, the mini rework with the WE gets a pretty big extend, so he was just kind of waiting for the cooldown anyway. It also gives you vision, so you'd see him in the brush. So a little bit dead to rights there is Biggest Big Boy. He's probably hoping that the W wasn't up for Maddie, and not really much he can do after he flashes and the W hits him.
Okay, up here the Poro flash coming through for that Lulu, getting out of that situation. Just as I mentioned, if he had gotten greedy and flashed in, if he didn't die immediately there, he would have died there, not having his flash against Maddie. So yeah, I am definitely liking the play from the bot lane a lot more in this game, playing with more respect for their opponent. But unfortunately, you need the whole team to do well if you're gonna pull a win against this solid Slew team.
Yeah, and respect is a problematic thing when playing against like a more skilled opponent, because you have to be respectful to not give up these easy kills, give up
Yeah.
these easy waves, give up easy plates. But if you're too respectful, if you're too worried, then they can just kind of relax, out farm you, take plates, just do tower dives later on, kind of do what Cozy's doing right now.
Oh goodness,
Um,
yeah. Cozy instantly takes that second Q, goes in, follows biggest big boy under his inner tower, gets the kill. The swag turtle is there as well. Doesn't have too much mana on this Victor right now, but the Shin taunt comes through. Cozy Shroud feels like he may have bit off more than he can chew, but the lantern all the way from downtown tease him there to save the Lee Sin. Leaves Doxa alone in the bot lane a little bit, and yep, as expected, the bot lane of Illinois responds by putting a lot of pressure on the lane.
Yeah, Tsum with the kind of traditional first back mid lane roam just happened to work out perfectly. That the Swag Turtle was backing out to look for Maddie, and so he could just walk Maddie out.
Good,
kind of lucky timing, but
yeah, I was gonna say,
cool, I guess.
It's cool because it's like you said, it's not like Tsum said, I'm going to roam because I know that Lee Sin's going to go in there and protect him. It just, roaming mid just gives you the opportunity to react to so many different things. So, like, yeah, it was lucky, but he kind of set him up for that good luck by roaming mid, which is just a good thing for support to do. And we got the Swag Turtle going to die once again, wants to put some vision into his jungle, but Maddie is already there and takes him down to really low health. Meanwhile, on the top side, a kill going over in the favor of Cozy as he is now 3-0. A lot of gold in his pocket with the Shin taken down. Oh my goodness, another kill, yep. Okay, and Strom has proven exactly why he went to bring that Ignite. He is going to play aggressive, dives in to finish off that Victor who got poked down low by Maddie.
Yeah, he takes the Ignite, he takes the comment, clearly playing pretty aggressive here, especially with the ring as well. Looking for kills, looking for some power here in the mid lane. Ooh, Fear the Portal might be in danger.
Yes, he is. Maddie not even waiting for the Thresh hook to come in there because he knows the slow will make it easy enough anyway for his support. Smoothie alone under this tower. You have to imagine that dive's going to come through now. Who's going to be the first to take aggro? It is going to be, I don't think it was Maddie. I think it was Kalissa who took aggro first, but enough people there that they're able to put the damage down and get the kill before anyone's in danger.
Tsum did take the first shot as we want him to. Unfortunately, he just didn't take two, and so that ended up with Doxa taking two instead. But not the biggest issue in the world as long as the Thresh takes one or two shots. We're kind of chilling here first.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Right, execute from Doc coming in there. Where did he just die?
He might have gone beyond the tower on accident. Trying to look for a kill.
Well, we are seeing a direct consequence of that mismanaged tower aggro, but Maddie getting another kill onto Victor in the mid lane. Let's see, Sums. No, it looks like the flash was not up for the Swag Turtle, and it's like off that Veigar, Swag Turtle isn't having as good of a game right now, and I don't think he expected this much aggression directly onto him, and without having a Veigar cage to protect him, it's a little easy for Slu to do it.
Yeah, to be fair, I would myself would not be expecting to have this much jungle attention in a Karma lane. I would have kind of assumed a little bit more of a farm fest here. In fact, Strumpets is actually building the actual item. He's not building support items, so I would be surprised myself. Now is the time that you need to start kind of chilling and realizing that you're 2 levels down. But the first kill or two, I think, is fair, especially with the kind of scuffle with Maddie that led into the flash from Strumpets.
All right, we got another engage from Tsum. He gets the hook. It goes right between both the players, but yeah, the Lulu gets so low that he's definitely going to die anyway as Maddie pressing forward with the rest of his team. They want to try and get some vision in there. Biggest big boy is there with a level down, though. I have to imagine he's not going to be able to get too much off this. Tsum is here to back up his jungler. Tsum only level 4 because of all the roaming he's been doing. An entire 2 levels his AD carry has over him.
Yeah, he's still matching up with Lulu, so it's not too bad. You're right, the When Becomes Lightning kind of went over the goalpost, but the red buff and the red smite onto Fear the Portal definitely enough to take out the low level and low health Lulu. Not too big of a deal, but it looks like maybe a wraparound for Biggest Big Boy.
I like that Zaya skin, by the way. All right, Biggest Big Boy does go in. They do believe that Callista is all alone. He is not. The Shin ult comes
Shin ultimate.
Surely a numbers advantage for Illinois. They might possibly get some kills. Tsum definitely goes down. Doxa having to back away as on the other side of the map, Cozy Shroud once again getting another kill. He is on a rampage, going to try and help his Karma take down the tower, but now the cannon's going to drop and they got to back off. Oh, another tower hit.
Okay. It's Star Guardian with a... Oh, wow, nice
kill onto Doxa as Illinois makes a good capitalization off that bot lane play by the Viego. Very impressed they were able to do that, despite the fact that Tsum turned out to be there and they probably didn't expect him. The teleport from Shin made it really good for them, but Biggest Big Boy can get caught in his jungle and Maddie takes him down.
Yeah, Flash the sad emote there too. He knew there's not much he could do. Didn't have ult, didn't have Flash. Little
Yeah.
bit greedy of him to try and heal up off the camps. Obviously kind of a tight thing. If Maddie's not there, he's fine. But if Maddie is there, he's gonna die.
Oh, that was a failed Hex Flash, I believe, but doesn't matter. The cooldown for that will be back up very soon. T-Sim's still sitting on level 4, but he doesn't care for the box right now. He's doing fine without an ultimate.
Yeah, I mean, as a sport like this, as soon as you get mobility boots, you don't really need anything else in the game.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really matter what level you are. You can catch up pretty fast. Just kind of sit on a couple of waves with your ADC, and it'll be all right. The fun part about playing Thresh and Engage Champs, as we saw in the last game with the Nautilus, is just being all over the map.
And to take a quick look at the CS scores here, once again, Shmovie is quite far behind Doxa, despite the fact that Doxa has been having so much time alone in the lane and with a decent collapse on the Kalista that they had just a few minutes prior. But I guess the lane is too much pressure for Shmovie to farm the way he wants to.
Yeah, well, actually, speaking of T-Sim's roams, almost every single time Dox has been stacking a wave or two, coming back into the bot lane, looking for a dive, sometimes bringing Maddie, sometimes bringing Strumpus, crashing these huge waves.
Yeah.
So it's really, really hard for Shmovie to really pick up enough farm, and he was down 31 at this point, and I would venture a good 15 or so to the tower or more.
Yep. Yeah, good lane management by Slew in that regard, knowing exactly what Doxa needs to be doing in this bot lane while T-Sim is roaming. They're going to go for a dive right here. Oh, it looked like they're thinking about it with Maddie showing up on the rear, but look at it. Biggest big boy is making his way down there. He knows that there's something going on in his bot lane, and he wants to be there to stop it.
Yeah, he misses the E, but it's actually a little bit okay because that shows Maddie that he's not in the area.
Okay, gets a stun onto Jinzalba with T-Sim there. Okay, the hook lands through. Really slow reaction from the Viego right there. He's got an ultimate to get away, but Slew is re-engaging as Maddie is just racing down this Xayah. Gets a good stun, stops T-Sim in his track. That's going to be a kill, almost going over onto T-Sim, but the Kalista ultimate keeps him alive. He dives right in because he knows with the numbers advantages, they can still get some kills there.
Yeah, it's a bit of a mismanagement of the ultimates from the Illinois side. Unfortunately, the wild growth onto biggest big boy, but then he ultimates out of it when in the Lulu out, which then kind of leaves Shmovie in a bad spot. So he has to ultimate out, and really all that leaves is every single ultimate on the side of Slew versus very few ultimates and no flashes on the side of Illinois. And they're able to clean it up, as we saw, pretty comfortably with Dox's ultimate. Nice snipe there.
Yeah, so many good snipes. That was very close to getting kind of ugly for Slew up there. They were both taking way too much tower damage, but last second Q by Lee Sin gets it, and it's also going to be the bot tower going down. As Slew, I think, was that the Rift Herald down there? Because the Rift Herald was top, isn't it? I didn't see where they put it.
I didn't see where they placed Rift Herald. I think it was in the bot lane.
Okay. I'll explain how it went down so fast. Maddie decides to get out of there. Can't get too much right now, but the rest of his team is resetting to spend their gold anyway. And look at all those bounties on the side of Slew. A lot of kills that Illinois is going to want to take off.
Yeah, checking in, we got about 11,000 gold lead, which is pretty damn heavy for this time of the game. You know, we got all plates in the bot lane, primarily on Doxa. I think T-Sim did probably pick up 1 or 2. All plates in the mid lane and 3 plates in the top lane for a grand total of 13 of the 15 plates, which is 1,500 something gold, 600 something gold. So that's most of it right there. Of course, the kills and the CS coming up with the next, 4,000 to 5,000. So pretty big bounties, but surprisingly no objective bounties. And this is kind of my issue with it, is that clearly we need objective bounties. They don't come until 14 minutes.
Very inconsistent. Okay, dive going on in the average Joey. He's going to die, making that tanky Shin look like paper thin. As biggest big boy wants to go in and try and make something happen. Ults out again, wants the wild growth on him. Mismanaged once again, but this time Maddie going to die. Blascom going to send Dox over. Let's see if Illinois wants to flash for it. Biggest big boy goes in there by himself, but might actually just fall to his death now. Okay, now too many people nearby for Doxa to feel safe.
That's a lot of spears.
Wants to go for it anyway. He does get the kill. A lot of kiting. He's got some more. That Rin's going to do it for Victor. Put him in the casket. No, he's just fine. Doxa gets the... Okay, is he going to get the kill there? He gets the kill. Doxa playing so confidently, even with Tisa not getting there until the very end, that Kalista was able to get those kills. And I feel like, I don't know, why did... maybe it was cooldowns, but the Spike Turtle played that so timidly.
Yeah, he had his W on cooldown. His ult was off as well, unless he can just perfectly line up his Q and E, which is or his E in particular, which is pretty hard on the high mobility Callista.
Yeah.
He either needed to not flash or flash earlier, but he basically
Yeah.
flashed after his jungler was dead, and there's not much to do. And as I kind of called out, there was already about 10 stacks on biggest big boy anyway. That Ren was going to come in pretty huge, and I think if you kind of see that as a mid laner, unfortunately, your jungler just went in a little too far.
Yeah, okay, and we got the insect coming through from Cozy Shroud right there. The Zaya ult just enough to keep Shmovy alive. However, we do see that in combination with the Lulu shield coming in great, great handy for Zaya.
Yeah, it's
And
good kick flash there. Cozy, like I said, plays a lot of Lee. It's probably, I would say, like his fourth or fifth most pick, showing the mechanics there. Also, just showing that, of course, that does mean that you don't know where Lee is going to be between him and Maddie. We like these kind of switching picks here. Fighting the bottom as well.
Yeah, teleport coming down. The Swag Turtle going to go down immediately. Biggest big boy going next. I don't think the burn is going to be enough to kill him, but Victor not looking too good with 5 deaths right now on his side, and Cozy Shroud just poking with some Qs, threatening the possibility that he might go in there for another, not another kick because it's still on cooldown, but just to put some damage down.
Yeah, unfortunately, Swag Turtle feeling a lot less comfortable in this matchup than in the previous one. You know, I don't want to put a law on the fact that he's not playing Vhagar. I do think that that Strampus really took him for a run with this. I mean, just actually the whole Slew team in general is talking about Miko's drafting style. Maybe he was thinking about a top lane Karma, but it came out a little bit better with mid lane Karma and top lane Lee Sin. There's a lot of players in this team that can swap who are their, you know, what they're playing, what they're playing.
Yeah.
Obviously, Strampus shows that he can play a carry. Karma, which means that it still could be up for the support Karma, for Cozy, the support Karma for Tsum.
Yeah, it's cool to see Karma get kills too. Like she isn't a very supportive champ, but she does do a decent amount of damage, especially when we're this early in the game. Yeah, I feel like it's not until later that Karma's damage starts to fall off, but right now she still does just pop you really hard.
Yeah, the 10, 11 mark is when she'd probably be falling off. Obviously, she's got so much gold, you know, at this point, probably about 2-ish thousand gold ahead of the opponent. So easily you can out damage your Victor, but typically now is about when it'd be falling off. The cooldowns do start getting nicer, so you get more rotations, but it's kind of a trade-off. It's less damage per burst, but a bit better of a amount of rotation. So you're kind of, I guess, your DPS increases, but your burst decreases.
Yeah, and I think with the range that Karma has, I do think like later on in the game she tends to only really be hitting like the tanks with the empower Qs, and that's not going to do too much damage on them. At that point, she does really turn into a utility bot, and those shields are just insane. Really good kiting with the W, and just a very well-rounded champ. But like we mentioned, this early in the game, Strompus is still going to be putting down some bad damage.
Yeah, and we are going to see more Karma just in general. She's a very strong pick. Lulu's a very strong pick. The Janna's a very strong pick. We're going to see more and more and more shielding supports, buffing supports, enchanter supports, especially as also we get deeper into this tournament. As the kind of skill disparity starts to kind of even out, we're going to see a bit of a slowing. Probably see Tsum kind of falling back from these engaged champions. Doxa falling back from these really hard all-in champions. I think the top side of the map drafting is going to be probably fairly similar. They're playing mostly kind of meta picks here, or at least their kind of primary pick of the meta.
Okay, it looks like Slew wants to go for one final push here. The Rift Herald is going to die before they can get that last tower, but with how low a lot of these HP bars are looking on Illinois, you have to imagine they're going to be dropping quite quickly. Doxa on the second tower is Cozy goes and gets the kill as well. Not a single kill is Illinois able to get on Slew as they're just knocking at their base, keeping them in the fountain right now. He's not going to die for that, is he? Don't do it, Cozy. Oh, all right, he did it. Donating a kill over to the Zaya, but Tsum and Doxa are continuing to pick away at the tower. The last tower is down. The Nexus is exposed, and Slew wants to put the finishing touches on this match without anyone alive on Illinois to do anything except for the Lulu, who can only stand and watch as the enemy ends.
Oh my god, Doxa just trolled Tsum.
Okay.
Doxa flashed into the tower, or into the fountain, and then ulted Tsum with him, and the fountain laser goes through everything. It even goes through Zhonya's and Callista ult.
Callista ult, that's funny.
Yeah, so he just griefed Tsum for a little bit of fun there at the end. And that was really funny. I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah, interesting interaction, but that will be Slew taking the 2-0 over looks like we're lagging, but I think you guys can probably still hear me. Yeah, it's gonna be Slew taking the 2-0 over Illinois. Quite comfortable by them. And I don't know that one. That one once again felt like TSUM really dominating on those roams, and um, Illinois just not really reacting to them well enough, and getting in situations where SLU's able to just force their will on them and initiate and put them in uncomfortable situations.
Yeah, I mean, nice. Love the cats. That's really the reason that people are here. Honestly, they don't really care about anything else. It's just the cats. They're the stars. It started out a lot better. This game, there was a lot better awareness of where the pressure points were, as we mentioned. The bot lane from Illinois, a lot more comfortable, aware of the aggression. And SLU did have to kind of change their game plan a little bit more set pieces, more dives, more kind of roaming actually from Cozy. Cozy wasn't just kind of stuck up top all game long. In fact, very little pressure brought to him until later in the game, previous as opposed to the first game. He kind of brought the pressure down a lot. Um, it wasn't a big adaptation, just kind of an awareness that Illinois is playing a little bit slower, a little bit more reserved. So, kind of changing the pressure points, changing when you're going to engage, how you're going to engage. And as I mentioned, Doxa primarily just kind of building a bunch of waves, crashing for the dive, which is more or less what Cozy was doing in the first game. So, just kind of going from, I wouldn't really call it a strong side top per se, not really a weak side either, but definitely moving it down to a strong side bot and just bringing all the pressure there, which we kind of saw with the Callista anyway.
Exactly. Now, with SLU being 2-0 and this being a Swiss format, I do believe this does mean that SLU's next opponent will be someone who is also 2-0. So I have
I
to
think
imagine that
so.
as SLU runs into more and more tough opponents, I wonder if we'll start to see teams able to not only survive this pressure that SLU is putting on and like, not die in these dive situations, but also respond appropriately. Because in League of Legends, whenever a team is committing like a lot of resources to a certain part of the map to get something, the response from the other team should always be to pay attention to where they're not putting their resources. So I wonder if
Mhm.
we'll start to see
Yeah.
teams say, "Flu's sending 3 people bot. All right, well that means their top side jungle is completely exposed. Let's get some vision. Let's like poke around, take some camps." And I think SLU's first 2 opponents haven't really been on that level. They've usually just been slow to react or just trying to like survive or like kill some over aggression. But maybe in the future we'll see some teams able to do more than just that.
Yeah, I was kind of alluding that a little bit. We're probably going to see a few more enchanter supports, maybe a slower bit of fighting. I mean, if you look at the LEC right now, there's almost no fighting until about 14 or 15 minutes. It's very interesting how the meta has shifted away from the LCK style into the LPL style, and probably a little bit more back into the LCK style, which is the current meta. Everyone's just kind of waiting for dragon fights, basically waiting for Rift Herald fights, waiting for plates to go, waiting for Unleashed teleports and stuff like that. I wouldn't be surprised we're going to start, maybe not to that level of no fighting in
Yeah.
14 minutes, but we are going to see it slow down quite a bit. I couldn't find who the next opponent is. I'm not sure it's been determined. I think you are right, though, that it's also going to be a 2-0. So we'll have to see. On that fact, they're only 2 wins away from kind of locking in a walkthrough because they need to get to playoffs because they need to have, or sorry, they need to have 5 wins actually. So there's 3 wins more. I was doing bad math. So we still have a couple more games to go before we have a lock in. I'd like to see the SLU guys get the 6-0, but you want to make it to playoffs first.
hmm Yeah, definitely going to be the road for them. All right. Well, thanks you all for joining us. I hope you enjoyed the games. Always good to cast with you once again, Hickory.
Thank you
I
very
will
much.
see you all again next time. Have a great night.
Yeah. See you. Thank you very much.